Hello everyone. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to focus on the research design lecture. And by the end of the lecture, you should be able to start to think about what you want to do for your research design part, as we already started research topic and purpose statement. Okay, let's start. So we're in the procedure of the research design. So essentially, it is just how to conduct a research. And the next step would be collecting data instrument and finalize the proposal. So research design, what is research design? The research design really is a blueprint of how a research study will be completed. Identify variables to measure and identify the interest of the study, what outcome should be, what the procedure of collecting data, how to test the hypothesis, and also analysis result. This gives you the overall blueprint. So it defines the type of study will be conducted, and this is a very important part of the research plan process. The research design itself is a plan detailing how the study can be completed. In order to have a clear research problem, have to, we stated early that we designed the purpose statement. Then the research study will detail each step to complete the study. So in research study, we're going to answer the questions like how to sampling data, how to do the data collection, how to analysis data, and also what need to be concerned about ethical issues within the study. So before moving forward, we need to understand a few concepts of different type of variable in research design, which already touched a little bit, but I want to recap the concept. So I want you guys to watch this video. I'm not going to play it because the video will cost a little time. So go ahead, watch the video, and here is an article explain about dependent variable, independent variable, control variable, all of those concepts before. So in your research, you need to define what is the independent variable and what is dependent variable. The independent variable is the one you can control in the study, and the dependent variable is the one, the result, the things you want to study on. So I want to quickly talk one more time about qualitative study, quantitative studies, the difference between the studies. So this part is going to be a study design. And also we're going to have to talk about what kind of design method we're going to approach. We're going to adopt for our research topic for each of you. So the difference between the quantitative and qualitative design study, actually, the qualitative study is much greater extent than the quantitative study. It is more like do it yourself rather than off-the-shelf procedure. What's that mean is most of the qualitative study is having specific hypothesis to testing. So you're going to design the surveys or the study instrument, and then you're collecting data and to approve the hypothesis or approve the theory, or to reject the result, reject the hypothesis, something like that. It's very rigorous. And it should be ensured validity and reliability. But for qualitative research, it's more flexible. It's like you're finding by looking, by researching, and your topic may change a little bit based on what your finding is. For example, like the procedure, we are doing the website design. So the procedure of finding the needs, you don't know the result yet. So you find by having an interview, qualitative interview with the client and finding the needs, design the scenario and task. And then later on, you can use those doing more qualitative study on usability on site. So that's a difference. And quantitative study is more clarity and distinct between the designs and method of data collection. But qualitative study is kind of combining the way the study is. It is the collecting tools for the data collection. So like interviews and the structure of the questions is semi-or unstructured to find the open problems. So study design in quantitative research is basically can be categorized to 3 different areas. If we use a different factor to categorize that. One is number of contact of study population. Well, people classify that different ways, but this is just using by like number of contact and reference period, time study, and nature of the investigation. But it's overlap as well when you see the structure you will see. So the very first one I'm going to talk is about based on the number of contact of the study. So longitudinal research study is the very first one I'm going to talk about. That this study population is fixed, but they are going to be researched by multiple times, a serious or repetitive cross-section study, collecting semi-information. For example, I read an article about people writing carrots will be research study on people eating carrots will affect the human's eyesight. So you can do a longitudinal study, which means you have fixed data from fixed group. You get the data from fixed group, maybe 20 people from their 20 years old, 5 years old, 20 years old, and 80 years old. So you're going to collecting the data from different time about this fixed group of people. So that takes a little time, but it's a fixed group of people. And cross-section research is most common because it's not going to take a period of time. It's going to be one time, but you're going to collecting group of people who are in different age group, like 5 years old, 20 years old, 80 years old, but you're going to study the same thing about their eating habit of carrots, influenced about their eyesight. So getting data from there. And then the last one cross sequential, or sometimes people call it before and after, which takes 2 cross-section data collecting points on the same population to find out the change. So it's going to have multiple contact times and going to have cross-section different group of people. So it's kind of a combination of both the first 2. And the second categorized is based on, this is all talking about a quantitative study. So the second one is based on reference period. The first one is retrospective, that is for historic data, and perspective is for the things, investing things that likely to happen in the future. And the one in combine of those are retrospective and perspective. So focus on both side data in without a control group. Okay. So the last type of quantitative study design is based on the nature of the investigation. One natural here means either experimental or non-experimental. So experimental is study from the cause, establish effect, and the researcher introduce intervention that is assumed to cause a change in the control environment. So basically, in the beginning of the study, the researcher already started to recording everything. So the researcher will control the data, and the intervention, the factor, and to cause a different kind of data. For example, like if you study mouse behavior or different medicine, maybe impact to a mouse group, you have hundreds of them. If you give one medicine, what's the percentage will being cured by the medicine? That is a control study, experimental study. Non-experimental study is start with the effect of research the cause. And the phenomenon is known, and the researcher try to establish what caused the problems. And basically, you didn't, for example, you suddenly see some mouse died in your porch, and you didn't know what the cause is. You didn't give them the poison or something, and then you can figure out what the cause for that the death of mouse. So that's non-experimental. And quasi or semi-experimental is an element of both experimental and non-experimental. And the type of we talk about longitudinal and cross-section and sequential ones all kind of belong to the semi or quasi experimental research for a quantitative study. So this is a summary of different types of study design for a quantitative study based on different number of contact, reference period, and nature of investment. Like I said, they are overlapped. So when you talk about one type is depending on how many times they contact, and also was it data, where data came from, and where it's in the control and the experimental or not. So other design, quantitative design, I'm not going to talk detail about this. So another group is study design in qualitative research. It could be case study, and focus group, and group interview. So let me create another video clip to talk about the qualitative research in a second.